Welcome back to Grump's barn, where today, well, I've been buggering about. Let's have a look. So, I've been down here. Did I just say so? Fucking hell, shoot me. Right. Been down in here. I've had to replace both the leak-off pipes here and the one in the middle. Now, the one in the middle I knew had a leak. It had been chewed by a mouse. Well, I didn't realise until I changed it that it also chewed the M1 as well. So I had to change that. Thankfully, I had a spare set of 3 sitting on the 300 TDI Disco outside, one that looks like it's been dragged up from the bottom of the ocean. So that's that sorted. It now starts and runs quite happily without pissing diesel every bloody where. I've also had this throttle cable out, took it out, greased it all up with some graphite based oil stuff that I found I had. Halford's penetrating oil, graphite based formula. But well, it's graphite based, the graphite will stay on there. Keep it nice and slippery for a while. Yeah, so I gave that a good grease up with that shit. And it was still a bit sticky. So I've then had to lubricate all the pivots on here at both ends, because they were actually very tight as well. Now it all works perfectly. So that's that bit sorted out. I've been through all the wiring everywhere, including behind the dash. And thankfully, behind that dashboard, there's not a sign of mouse. I know it's been in there. It had to have got in there in the first place to get into the electrics box over there, where it's been merrily chewing away. The only place it could have got in there was via the back of the main console. But thankfully, it's left everything alone. I noticed a couple of the side light bulbs have been knocked out, or sorry, idiot light bulbs, should we say. One of them's still out actually, I didn't notice until I put it back in again. Yeah, the cold start bulb on there was falling out, although I don't use that for, obviously that's for a jug. I use that for the glow plugs. Use that as a warning light for it. And I found that my charge light's not working. It's fallen out. I've got to take the bloody thing back off again and plug that one back in. But there again, to be fair, either or even both of those could have fallen out when I pulled the dash apart, because they're pretty old, those things, and they're just a push fit. So yeah, it's not unusual for them to fall apart. I've even found the radio is still working. Yes, you can hear it perfectly before you start the engine. Right, so that's that little lot done. Oh, and there's only one thing wrong with the electrics, and that was the side light and indicator at the front weren't working. I've removed the bulb. It was blown to buggery. Don't know what I did with it though. No, I've obviously tucked it into a heap somewhere in the corner. Oh well. But all the bulbs on these, all 4 of them, because they're so flat, you have to have the special small globe bulbs on them. Getting those in twin filament, it's getting harder. Just had a quick look on eBay, and the cheapest ones I can find at the moment are about £4 each. But never mind, if that's what I have to pay in the end, that's what I shall pay. Because I need some more. Because obviously, because I have twin filament in the front and twin in the back, I need a lot of them. Just in case. and they're getting harder and harder to get hold of. Never mind. That's all the fun of it, isn't it? Right, I shall leave that here for now. Next you shall see me is when I'm down here again next. Well, I think I will be doing these. Taking this off. As I say, I do have a repair kit for it. I hope it's the right one. It should be. But that's the next job. Is take this off, take it apart, and change all the seals. How they've gone so quickly, I don't know. They've been in there. Okay, they've been in there about 6 years. But in that time, this thing, you'd be lucky if it's done a couple of thousand miles. Or maybe it's 7 years, I don't know. It's been a while. But as I said, the mileage is pretty low. For them to just pack in. But they're gonna, it could be yet again because it's been sitting around so much, it doesn't get used very much. So I think once I've done this, I'm going to have to start using it more. Wouldn't that be a shame? Yeah, I definitely need to take it out at least once a week just to keep it ticking over. Otherwise I'm going to get more and more of these problems. Because the problem with the throttle was because it hadn't been used for so long. That it must have been the bushings as well as that cable, which was part of the problem. That was a bit sticky, but not too bad. The main problem was the bushings on the arm that controls the throttle. Which, as I say, if you don't use them, they start getting gunked up and stuck. So yeah, I should have to start using the bloody thing more. Right. See you in a bit when we'll be starting on this. But there we go. Just in case, pulling the vacuum hose off here. And with the aid of a screwdriver, it just leave it off. Two 17mm nuts with washers under them, holding it on. And obviously the two fittings for the front and rear brakes. One of which has got a 1/2 inch fitting, the other one 7/16. So you can't put them in wrong. Well, with only two, it's, yeah, and with them being bent into shape, a bit hard to get mixed up. But there you go. Somebody obviously had. I wanted to make sure nobody would. And I cannot see too much in the way of signs of any fluid in here, but there was definitely fluid coming down that bloody brake pedal, and it's any place it could come from. So there she is, one master cylinder off. I just have to plug these holes up in a second. Because I won't be doing this now, it's getting a bit late. As you can see by the light out there, it's getting on for 9 o'clock in the evening. This is in May. By 11 o'clock it'll be starting to get dark. Yep, you heard me right. By 11 PM, it's nearly dark here, nearly. If you look to the north, it doesn't get dark this time of year. It stays permanently light up there. Right, that'll do for now. I won't be taking the clip out the end of here yet. That will be happening tomorrow. As I say, in the meantime, I'll be plugging these up. I'll have to clean this off as well. Needs a damn good clean up while it's apart. Get all that rot off. It's only light surface rust. Yeah. Not too bad. Looks worse than it is. But that all needs cleaning off. And I'll give that a quick blow over with some sort of paint. Fuck knows what, or whatever I've got to hand. I'll probably treat it in the meantime as well. With the old acid as per usual. Right. I'll get on with that tomorrow. See you then. Well, there we go. That's the master cylinder all cleaned up. giving it a good de-rusting. Been treated with the old acid treatment. And it's been given a little coat of cold galv. Yes, to try and keep it nice for a bit longer. Bloody pale coatings they put on these nowadays is shit. That was put on there 7 or so years ago, 7 or 8. And it's hardly been out the garage. And you saw the rust on it. And that wasn't the garage round here. That was the garage when we lived down south. It was nowhere near the bloody sea. I don't know. They just put these shit coatings on there. Give them a quick fucking spray and that's it. That will do, sort of thing. And then they rot. Then you have to buy a new one, and that's green, that is, apparently. I've still to take it apart and do the insides, but I wasn't doing that until I cleaned the outside up first. Didn't want that shit getting inside it. So that's that done. And whilst I was at it, I also decided to free up the pedal because it was a little bit stiff. Again, lack of use. So you've got pivots at the top here. Just sprayed lubricant into there, some penetrating stuff. And gave it a good old waggle about and freed it all up. That'll be alright for a while again. Otherwise it would have meant taking everything off, but I might possibly still take it off to give this a good going over. I don't know. Don't know if I can be arsed at the moment, because it would mean taking the bloody wing off as well. I don't really want to get into that sort of thing at the moment. Not when I've got a Defender to sort out after this. I just want to get this back on the road again. So it then means that when I got the Defender off the road to do the swivels, I've still got a motor to use without having to use that bloody freeloader. I don't know. Right. Let's get on. Well, while the second coat's drying on that brake master cylinder, I thought I'd take this rear hub off and have a look. Well, the drum off rather. See if there's any leaks in here. And I can't see a single leak anywhere in here of brake fluid, which is lovely. So this leak here, there's a seal gone somewhere in there. So I should have to take this cover off, check it out. Probably gasket problems, but we shall have a look. Because it's definitely been leaking. There isn't a hell of a lot that stops everything getting through here anyway. Right, let's get this off and have a look. Oh, and for those of you who want to know such weird things as this, Land Rover went a bit nutty with these Series 2s. Instead of having one little screw to hold your drum in place before you put your wheel on, they decided to put 3. Yes, there are 3 holding screws on it. Oh, they didn't trust their wheels to stay on. Or someone was, well, perhaps they had too many bloody little screws hanging around the place, didn't want to use them up. Oh yeah, while I'm under here, as you can see, we got light surface rust all on here. This is what's got to be cleaned up and painted over. Oh, the paint's lasted alright, I suppose, considering it was painted, as I say, 7 or 8 years ago, and it's lasted fairly well. So everything just needs a good clean up and a repaint, really. That's not too bad. Mind you, this tank hasn't lasted so well. Look at that. started to delaminate already. That was a brand new tank at the time, and obviously it was painted at the time by me. And again, it's starting to look a bit iffy. It's just mud under there. So again, that'll have to be cleaned up. And the new cover, look at that. Paint is just falling off in lumps. Yeah, we'll get a wire brush over that. Give it another coat of paint. Same with these leaf springs. I'm not going to be taking those apart. I redid these completely, and they were painted all those up. They were all painted bright red at the time. A little bit of rust on the shockers, and again, this has all had bugger all use really. It's just the cheap shit they give you these days when you buy stuff. Okay, they're only shit part shockers anyway, so. And the same with this exhaust. That was rotten like that within about a year. But it's held together till now. I've noticed there are some small holes appearing in the tailpipe now. So that'll be due for a change soon. But a complete system for those is not expensive. In fact, I think I can see a hole in the bloody rear silencer as well. Have a look over there. There's definitely a hole in that rear silencer. So yeah, it's going to need a new exhaust sometime soon. Although I hardly notices with the noise. Doesn't make any more noise than it used to. Maybe these are such quiet vehicles. Right, let's get on and get this bugger off and see what's going on. Well, this is going to be a cheap fix. Just stick the hubcap off. And a load of EP pissed out all over my hand. Means the felt washer's gone. Which is not a problem, I've got another one. I just have to take the split pin out of here. Undo the retaining nut, get that washer off, and underneath there is a felt washer. Which obviously has let go. That's all that stops the bloody EP from getting out from the axle. That's why it's been leaking. Oh, lovely. I wish all problems were as small as that. I just hope that's the only problem. I don't see anything else wrong there. Alright, let's go and get a washer. There we go, that's the offending article. Sits in there. Pushed into here. And it's gone hard. Completely. That wasn't sealing at all. Hang on. Let's get a new one out. I know I got one, I saw it the other day. There we go. There's a new one. To compare to that knackered old one there. So you can see that's very thin. That is pretty solid. Whereas this one is spongy. Yeah, so that's what needs replacing. Just need to get some oil in it first. Soak some oil into that and put it back in there. I just got to get this off this bloody washer. It welded itself to it pretty much. Absolutely solid. Been on there so long. Well, same amount of time as every bloody thing else because I replaced all these obviously when I rebuilt it. There we go. pushing off slowly. There we are. A nice clean washer. Push back in there. Right, all I've got to do now is go and get a pin punch and knock out the last bits of the split pin that was in there. Right, back in a sec. Well, there we go, all tightened down again, and a new split pin in there. Stop what I'm doing. All I'm going to have to do now is wipe the disc back on, give it a wipe over, it's got a bit of muck on it. Oh, put the cover back on here, obviously hubcap, and readjust the brakes because they're all going to need adjusting. They haven't been done in a long time. Right, let's get that done. Just one other little thing before I forget. If you've got an old series motor like this, be aware that in your drum, the brake drums are all the same. Get a hole. There's another one up here. They're all over the place. There's several of them around it. They're drainage holes. So if any water gets in there, it can get out again. If you do have the drums off for any reason, make sure they're clear. These are all nice and clean. I just checked them. I thought I'd better mention that. And yeah, as you can see, there's one screw. Another one goes over here. And now I'm filming it, I can't get it to bloody take. Oh, there we go. Typical. And the last one. Talk about bloody overkill though. Thankfully they're better made than the modern sort of cheese-headed crap ones that are like they're made of fucking cheese. These ones have lasted since 1960. That's not bad going, is it? There we go. You don't need to do these up ridiculously tight because all they'll do is seize up on you again. 9 times out of 10 they're seize solid anyway on most motors. I just do them up enough to hold the bloody thing on. Because once your wheel's on there, it's not going any bloody where anyway. Make sure they're nice and tight, and now just loosen them off slightly. So I can get them undone again next time. Because if you do them up tight and leave them tight, you'll never get them off again. Right, that's this done. Now all I've got to do is go and find a spanner and get the adjuster done on these. There we go, one wheel back on. And if you're wondering why I've got these dirty great 235/85/16s on here, on modular wheels, there's one simple answer. Well, for one, the wheels and tyres are bigger than standard, so it raises your gearing a little bit, which is always helpful when you're running on the original diffs. But the main reason is money. I have a full set of the original wheels and tyres for this, but unfortunately the tyres are all shot. And by shot I mean most of them they won't even hold air, they've got holes in them. They're that old. And I just can't afford a new set of tyres for it. And these were my spares that I used to use on the Defender, because it's got my mud tyres on them. So if I went out doing some serious off-roading, then it's what I would whack onto it. And as I was sitting around not doing a lot, and fitted straight on, thought, yep, that'll do. So that's why it's got them. And actually, because this thing doesn't go very far in like that, they're hardly bloody worn. Right then, I better get on with this. I've got 3 more wheels to check on this at some point. Alright, well I've been a bit of a birch, which is nothing unusual. As you can see, the master cylinder is now all back on. And guess who forgot to film any of it? Yeah, I took it down to the house and rebuilt it. Yeah, it's only a very simple job with these anyway. Basically a circlip to take out. You've only got 2 plungers and 2 springs inside there. Oh, and you have to take the top off, which means with this particular variety taking roll pins out from underneath it to take it off, because there's also a little steel pin in there that holds the rear piston back, keeps it in place, acts as a stop for it. And you can't get to that without taking the reservoir off, and you have to take that out to get everything out to redo it. And it's very odd because most of the seals look fine. Possibly the very front seal was a bit flatter than it should have been, but I couldn't see any real evidence of leakage. Got to have been doing it, otherwise I wouldn't have lost half my fluid that's gone squittering all down, well, I say a lot of it squirted down the bloody brake pedal. That's the only place it's going to come from. That's all back on, and I've now got to go around and start taking off all the other wheels, checking everything behind them, making sure we haven't got any brake leaks or anything. Put the top back on there. Now I've left it overnight, and as it was before, if I would have put any fluid in there, it would have gone down to half its level already. That hasn't moved, and I have operated the brake pedal a few times just to see if it would leak. Nope, no leaks yet. So now I've got to take this wheel off, check everything behind this, and then I'll do the front ones. Here we go, we found a problem. Look at that shoe. Smooth as silk. That is full of fucking brake fluid. Oh dear. The other side's not quite as bad. So I'd assume that this side of this piston's been leaking on here. Oh well. Never mind. Yeah, it looks like we're going to need a new cylinder, because all these cylinders are original ones and they were all seized when I got it. So I de-seized them all, cleaned them all up, polished the bores and everything, because there were no obvious scores in them. And it's been working all this time. Now it's let go. So either I will actually, I might just replace it. In fact, I'll probably just use a replacement kit. Fuck it. They don't make them that well anymore. That body's bound to be alright, I'm sure. We'll find out. Oh dear, never mind. Well, that's another job. The fact it's only one of them is not too bad, and it was only one set of brakes that weren't working, so it was obviously the rear ones that had given up the ghost on one side. I mean, it's not bad that these brakes have held out for that long. Again, I think this has only gone because of lack of use. Because when I was using it more often, rarely had any problems with it. But here we go. That's our problem. That's what I've got to get done, and that will be for the next video. Because I'm going to call this video here. We've got enough on it now. I'm going to have to wait for a few days to get the parts to fix this anyway. So I might as well put this one up in the meantime, so you can see what I've been doing. So yeah, next time round it will be getting down to repairing this. I shall take it off. Obviously probably rebuild it rather than anything else. Obviously I'll have to have new shoes. Those sides again, annoying because these ones aren't that bloody worn. Never mind, such is life. This is only a minor bloody problem. Bit of a hiccup. Yeah, I shall be putting this back on for now. Obviously it's not going anywhere anyway. And I shall carry on, you'll see in the next video, I'll carry on and take your front wheels off, check all those out while I'm at it. And see what we find. Well, that's the end of this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, people. Bye.